Days after the IG report confirmed FISA abuses when the FBI investigated the Trump campaign, former FBI Director James Comey declared that he was vindicated in claiming that the FBI had done nothing wrong.
Do you think this is vindication?
It is. I mean, the FBI's had to wait 2 years while the president and his followers lied about the institution. Finally, the truth gets told. I hope it's not too late, but on all the important things, it tells the truth.
But then he sat down with Chris Wallace and changed his tune a bit. Watch this.
He's right, I was wrong. I was overconfident in the procedures that the FBI and Justice had built over 20 years. I thought they were robust enough. It's incredibly hard to get a FISA. I was overconfident in those because he's right. There was real sloppiness. 17 things that either should have been in the applications or at least discussed and characterized differently. It was not acceptable. And so he's right, I was wrong.
Here now, Kim Strassel, Wall Street Journal editorial board member, Fox News contributor, and author of Resistance at All Costs, How Trump Haters Are Breaking America. Kim, good to see you tonight. Thank you for being here. You know, the thing that really struck me was that James Comey sort of kept kind of writing off these little, sort of inconsistencies, these little mistakes. They're just sloppiness. There's nothing else behind them, minimizing them. And I'm not sure that really adds up. Does that add up for you as just sloppiness, just mistakes?
Well, should it surprise anyone that this was how Jim Comey described this report? This is the same guy that for 2 years assured everyone that no one did anything wrong at the FBI, that all the FISA procedures were followed, that the Steele dossier was not really a very central part of the FISA warrant. All incorrect. And so now he comes out and says sloppiness. Of course, that's not what this report was. This report was the Inspector General finding that the FBI had deliberately gone around all of the safeguards that have been set up to protect the civil liberties of the United States, which is as big a violation as it gets when you're talking about law enforcement.
Yeah, it really struck me, too, that he said, it's incredibly hard to get a FISA, through. That is not true. It is incredibly easy. In fact, they usually sign off on like 80 to 90% of the requests. So the FBI goes in there knowing, whatever we put in front of these judges, they're going to say yes because, we're investigating scary things and they don't want to be the person that stopped it. So I thought that was odd, that he would say that.
Untrue.
When we know that's not the case.
It's untrue. Let's just say it. It's untrue. And look, in fact, it gets to the heart of what we have in the IG report. The entire reason we depend on the FBI to be scrupulously honest in these applications is because it's an acknowledgement that the FISA court pretty much takes them at face value.
Absolutely.
And there's no ex parte. Right. There's no other side that gets to argue against it. So if the FBI says this is warranted, then the FISA court says it must be warranted. And this is what we found out, is that the FBI decided again to manipulate and deceive the court on that front. So it's very easy to get.
And then he says, poor Carter Page. Gee, we're really sorry. Yeah, actually we're wrong about that guy. Not a source is very different than is a source. That's not something that would be just sort of. You're telling me that's a typo? I mean, that is not a typo. And one other thing I want to ask you before I let you go is with regard to, this whole idea that he was 7 layers above. He said, I'm like 7 layers above. I'm the director. I don't really know what's going on in this thing. But go back to the moment when he decides to send FBI agents to the White House because it's chaotic over there and they can get them in to talk to Mike Flynn. Watch this.
Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration. So if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel and there'd be discussions and approvals and who would be there. And I thought it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over.
Sounds like he was pretty involved to me, Kimberly.
Yeah, in fact, if you go through the report, there's all kinds of reasons to wonder about Comey's claim that he was just very distant from this. There's another example in the IG report where the former Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, tells the IG that in the spring of 2016, Comey and McCabe went out of their way to pull her aside and tell her that the FBI had got a tip on Carter Page and that the Russians might be trying to use him for information. Now, why would he know all about that if he was a guy who was just really distant? So I think this sounds very convenient now that all the facts have come out.
Yeah. Kimberly Strassel, Wall Street Journal, thank you very much. Great to see you tonight.